Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Transcend with M. And with us today is Stephanie. And I cannot wait to hear her story so you can learn a little bit about what resiliency really means. So, welcome, Stephanie. How are you doing today?
Hi, Monica. Thank you for having me today. I'm feeling pretty good, I think.
Awesome, awesome. So I cannot wait for you to share, your becoming story. And let's just get started because I'm really curious to hear everything that has to do with where you were and where you are today. So take
Okay.
us through the journey. Who's Stephanie and what is her story?
Okay. So, for you guys that don't know me, I'm Stephanie Burgos. I'm from the Dominican Republic and I've been in the United States for 14 years. I am a lover of fitness. I'm a nutritionist. I love to help kids. And I have been working in the United States in different fields. So, first, I started being at retail. After 6 years, went to a company that manufacturing trucks like for hydrogen, cryogenics, and any type of gas that you can probably imagine. And then I moved to work just in Worcester, and I was helping different nonprofit organizations with the marketing part. And from the nowhere, one time I was an offer for being part of Chick-fil-A Marlborough, and I was their GM till last September. So I have been in different areas, different field, doing a different type of jobs, but I'm happy that I have the opportunity to be in those areas.
So tell us a little bit the transition from like being in those areas and where you got today and why are you doing what you're doing right now?
Okay, so um, what can I tell you? In all these years, I have been learning a lot of things about what is being a professional woman. And each of those locations was showing me different part of who I am right now, how to communicate with people, how to treat the customers, how to be better in what I love, that is marketing and nutrition. But also during those times, I will say my first um, maybe 11 years, they were fine. They were the most beautiful years. I learned, I had a relationship which I was I will say I thought that that was the relationship that I'm going to be going through all my life, because it was for 7.5 years. And honestly, all my life changed when we decided to get married. Work was fine. I don't have a complaint about work. I love working. I am very hardworking woman. But in my personal life, in my love life, that's when things have been a little bit harsh to me. And honestly, it's not because I cannot be a good partner. It's just because I'm a Latina, I'm Black, and I have an accent. So,
Tell me more about that.
so I never thought that I'm gonna be going through that situation because who I am. Never
Mm,
thought that I'm going to be rejected because my color or my way to talk or from where I'm coming from, because I'm very proud to be Dominican. And
mm-hmm.
when we decide to get married and we sent all the save the date, we had all the plans ready. All the my bridesmaids has their stuff. His mom's side decided to send everything back to us and reject the relationship to the point that we were at that moment, just because she didn't know that her son, her kin, will be getting married with a Black woman. So
Wow.
you can probably imagine being a woman as well, how shocking that can be when you
Mm-hmm.
are so pumped up getting ready for your wedding and designing your cake and designing. I did everything. Every little design for my wedding was done by me. And
Mm.
getting that contradiction with his family, it was a little shocking to me because he did not say anything to them.
Wow. So I've seen that at work, right? Like we see that at work all the time. But listening to it from a personal story, from a personal standpoint, where
Mhm.
it's in the other side of things, it's only something that we usually see in like movies or other countries that, are a little bit more radical than
Mhm.
probably we are here. So
Yeah.
how did you handle that situation?
Whew. It was a little hard for me to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And not because what his mom says to me for 45 minutes, insulting me and making me feel like very little just because the person I was,
Mm-hmm.
criticizing my parents because they don't speak the language, or just making feel like because they're coming from Poland and they're super white and blonde, they mean more to the world than me. So when that happened, it was a little hard for me mentally to kind of like accept it, understand it, and digest it at the moment. It took me months to
Yeah.
to take all her words out of my mind. Took me
Mm,
months to be able to sleep because I
mm,
was questioning myself, am I doing something wrong? In the
mhm,
reality, am I this type of person? Is that what people see when I'm going out, when I'm going to work, when I'm connecting with other people in networking events? Is that what the people see about me?
yeah.
So it wasn't easy to handle it. So we decided to I asking for some kind of like a time to move the wedding to a different time of the year, following year. And for him, I think it was like a goal to show his family that he was capable to get out of their house, get married, and show them that, okay, here you go. This is another certificate that you can put on the wall. But
Mm,
when I asked for those things, he felt that I was giving my back to him. He didn't
mm,
understand why I was asking for those things.
mm,
So it wasn't that bad till we decided to cancel the wedding. House was needed to be put in the market. Dogs was needed to be separated from their parents because we had two dogs that we adopt. So all those things happened in less than 2 months. House,
wow.
dogs, relationship, um, life. Everything that was built in 7 years was done in 2 months, kind of. And it was more like mentally draining me because
Mhm,
he took the decision to move away from Massachusetts. He has a good job over there. But in the case for me, I was on a part time job because I was going full time school and I
mhm.
was just getting ready to get married. So it was kind of like it started again, similar to when I came in 2008 to the United States. Um,
Wow. What a story. So I guess my question is, what was the lesson learned? I mean, there is a lot to talk about here, and I don't want to go too deep because I know there are certain things that are personal. But when you say, um, "Is this the way others are perceiving me? Is this the way that people look at me when I am out there, when I am networking, when I am going out, that doubt, that fear. How how were you able to deal with that fear, right? And converted it into power and converted it into energy to actually move forward and take action towards that not happening again? Because I think we do experience a lot of that here behind closed doors, but not a
Mhm.
lot of people talk about it, right? Even in business, we get paid less because certain aspects of who we are, no matter how the level of education we have, if we have an accent, it's doubtful that we know what we are doing.
Mhm.
So there is certain characteristics and certain stereotypes that hurt our community, hurt minorities, because racism, and we have to give it a name, racism still exists. So how did
Yes.
you convert it out of that into power and got the energy to move forward? Because that's a big, I mean, that's not an easy transition. And like
It
you
is not.
said, mentally, it breaks you down. So
Mhm.
I'm interested to hear.
Well, you're going to hear a lot because I have learned being in the United States that who you are outside is not the same person that you are at home.
Hmm.
Here you go through so many challenges. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what makeup or clothes you wear outside to go to work. There is some people that already have a version of you without you even know it. So
Mm,
I have learned to go out and smile. I can have the worst headache because of all the things that I'm being thinking about. But I always go out. I say to myself, as soon as you get out of that car and you go into your job, you don't need to show that you have a problem. I
mm,
smile, I keep looking up, and whatever comes, I deal the best way I can. However, after that situation, the
mhm,
bigger situation happened. That happened. Perfect. We separate, we leave, we are out and doing our thing. Later, after that, being by myself, something happened during that time, and I met somebody that I knew a long time ago. We used to work in a church. I met somebody, and in the situation that I was, I don't have family here. Just to be clear, I don't have family in Massachusetts. I'm by myself, and I decided to go and give me my opportunity to start talking to other people and to also be with somebody else. I personally, I hate to be by myself. I don't know, and it's something that I'm working on. It's something that I've been working for a while. It's hard for me to be alone because I don't
mhm,
have my family. It's hard for me to be in a house that I don't have somebody to talk to. Um, so I met this person personally, not just as a friend. And as a woman and having this situation, we got together, and that's when I got pregnant for my child, Isabella. And I wanted to be a mom long time ago. So that was something that I was, oh my God, you gave me what I wanted for so many years. Now what? What should I do? What is the
mhm,
next step? How can I do my best to be able to bring this child to the world?
mhm,
Well, this person is Catholic like me, somebody that love Mary, love God, and is so pumped up and talking about religion and all this. So I said, well, finally I have somebody that kind of think of like I do. It was the opposite of everything. It's like now I smile because I have cried too much, but it was the opposite. Um, at that time, I had my fitness business, my nutrition business, who I used to love. I was needed to close everything because I was not allowed to talk to people. I was not allowed to take phone calls when I was at home. I was not allowed to get out of the house after 5 because if it was not with him, I was needed to be at home. Um, I understood at that moment. I didn't understand in what situation I was involved till I get out. But honestly, I was living with somebody that has the like a narcissist type of a style life. He sold his car to have just one car at home for him to be able to know who was in my car, how many times I was getting out of the house, picking him up, dropping my child 2.5 months to the daycare and working. I was not allowed to have my mom in the day I was having my child because with him was enough. During my pregnancy was many days that I was sleeping on the floor because I couldn't be around him. I couldn't feel him close to me. My child was everybody else in was their child. Not him, not his. I couldn't tell this to anybody because that was private. It's something that not many people have the courage to say it because who's going to believe it? Because if I'm outside, I'm smiling, I'm not crying. So it was a situation that took a lot from me. That was the situation that really destroyed the Stephanie that I used to be, the strong person that I used to be, that person that used to smile even that the world was ending because there was no smile anymore. I couldn't enjoy my pregnancy the way I wanted to because if I wear a dress, who are you going to see? Why you putting makeup? Why are you doing your hair? Do you have somebody at work that is waiting for you? So it got to the point that I was dressing like somebody else. I was looking myself in the mirror like I was somebody else. I just didn't change my name, but my personality internally was completely different. And during the time of my pregnancy, I decided to stay because what else am I going to do? I don't have anywhere else to go till I had my baby. Everything got worse. I couldn't, like I said, couldn't talk to nobody. Everybody at work was a target. People from work used to tell him when I was seeing like sponsors. Somebody from work used to tell him if somebody was in my car. I didn't have privacy in my world. Was no privacy at all, and was like, okay, I'm a prisoner in this house because not even at work I can talk because somebody is already providing him every little information that happened in my office. So when Isabella turned 6, that was when I make the decision, even without home or money or anything. I said, I can't continue doing this because I'm losing myself. And the only thing I want to do right now is kill myself. And I have a child and I don't have my mom here to take care of her. So I'm leaving. So I make the decision to take my baby, my clothes, and leave the house. And after I leave the house and I was living in a bedroom in somebody else's house, he decided to start harassing me and telling me that he's gonna be killing the person I was with because he thought that I was with a man. So as you can probably imagine, I didn't go out. I was in a room with a 6-month-old. The room was smaller than, honestly, you can probably have a twin bed and a small playpen and one little table, and that's it. That was my room. I left when that was January 2020. And in March, he decided to send me emails if I show it to you, it's like a movie. The title was like movie titles. When the judge saw it, he was like, "What is this?" Everything was like a movie scene. Like one was like, "I'm hunting you," another one was like I'm following you. Something that it was like a movie. When I read all this, it was like, am I gonna be dying tomorrow?
Yeah.
So I decided to have a restraining order, which was good for me, but was the worst thing of the story because he started, instead of reaching me, he was started reaching people that I knew. He was started harassing people that I knew. He hurt somebody that I knew just to let me
Wow.
know that he's capable to get to me. And that led to an investigation with detectives and everything, which is still active. And in this story, we have two detectives involved, one for the person that got hurt, one for me. And honestly, the law in this country, the public services in this country, it's not the best for us women. I didn't get help for DTA. I didn't get help from the YWCA. I didn't get help from the court. It was like I was not part of this community. So if you go through a domestic violence, you have in your mind that you're going to be having some support from the Department of Domestic Violence. And I didn't. I didn't get offer food. I didn't get offer shelter. I didn't get offer any of the support that women in that situation would probably deserve. I wasn't allowed to have a food stamp help because I was working. I wasn't allowed to have a lawyer at court because I was working and I was making a little bit more for what the bracket they have. So just to make your story short, like I'm still going through that situation, but at that moment, I have cameras in my car. I had camera in the apartment. I had camera in the place my child was being taken care of. Each of those people had a restraining order because we didn't know what that person is going to do. It was a movie. It was a movie. It wasn't a normal life because everywhere I was going, I was needed to look behind and check if somebody was looking at me. I couldn't go back to the main street Worcester to walk because I don't know. I didn't know if I was safe. I still look in my cameras in my car, and it was when we find out that he was renting cars. He rented 7 cars while we were doing the investigation, and each of the cars was following me. Each of them, and I didn't know. So yes, it might be a story that maybe is not much for a lot of people, but my advice to the women that are listening to me is when you are in a situation like this, when you are with somebody that is mistreating you, when you are with somebody that is not valuing you as the person you are, not the person they want you to be, the person you are. If you're not being treated well or not being valued, get out. Do whatever you can. Get out of that situation. Talk to people. Don't keep it to yourself because you don't know if you're going to be able to see the next day. There were days that I was going home. No, during the week, I was going home from different streets, different ways to get to my house, just to kind of avoid to see maybe somebody's waiting for me on a corner or Maybe somebody is waiting for me in the daycare when I coming out with my child. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it was scary. It was very scary going through the situation. My relationship with the other person was okay, perfect. I'm Black. Good. I love it. Yes, I speak Spanish. I have an accent. I love it too. That didn't take anything from me.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one took everything from me. Took my finance, took my security, took my personality, took everything. And not having my family here, it was a little bit more challenging because I was needed to put all my trust in two people that were the people living with me. Which a year later, they took me out of the house with a 2-year-old in the middle of the pandemic, just because the person that is the wife of the owner made the decision to say that my ex will kill her, that she was the victim and the target of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you can probably imagine, after a year trying to survive from a domestic violence situation, from harassment and people following you, detective, police, continue living, working, having a child to take care of, paying everything that you was getting in your check to pay all your bills, and $1,200 for daycare because I couldn't get help, and then have this person to tell me that I need to get out of the house because my ex is going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
No house, no place to go. Many places in Worcester designed to deny me and my child because I have a child. Illegally, that's not right. Legally, that's not right. So I'm out again and I'm homeless for 2 months with a 2-year-old with me. My car full of clothes and
Wow.
all my stuff in a shelter, in a storage.
Wow, Stephanie.
Um, my mom asked me one day, she asked me, how can you do it?
Mm-hmm.
How can you continue going to work and smile? How can you go to work and train those kids at Chick-fil-A
Mm-hmm.
and be normal?
Mm-hmm.
What are the other choices? I don't have any other.
Yeah.
I don't have help. Unfortunately, you pay taxes and you get nothing. You work and you mean nothing for these organizations, which for sure they are denying so many other women that are worse than me.
Yeah.
For sure, they're not giving them what they need for their kids because it's not the type of person that they need for them to get more money for themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else to tell you, honestly, because I don't know what you want to teach your audience.
Yeah.
But like my therapy told me once, she says, Stephanie, I cannot give you an advice because for you to get out of that place with a 6 month, you had courage. You
Mm-hmm.
had courage because I know women that are still there and they continue living there too many, many years just because they don't know where to go, what to do.
Yeah.
So
So what keeps you going, Stephanie? I know, like, main reason is your daughter, of course, and as women, we have so much resilience, right? But what what keeps you going, and what are you anchoring to in order
God,
to keep moving forward?
God, People people say all the time in social media and everywhere, oh, I'm a goddaughter, I'm a goddaughter. Honestly, I am a goddaughter. He has given me the tools, the way to be able to continue moving.
Mhm.
It's it's hard to tell people no when they ask you, how are you today? You always say, I'm good.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're not gonna tell I'm hungry, I have a need today. Because they don't care. People
Mhm.
live in the life now that is only them and the phone. They don't care if you didn't eat, if you didn't drink, if you didn't sleep. I have 3 years that I haven't sleep. I sleep 2-3 hours every single day. I have been diagnosed with depression and I don't want any pills.
Mm.
Like, God has given me the opportunity to understand that I am here for a reason.
Yeah.
And I am here not just for my daughter, no. He picked me for her so I can teach her what she needs to learn and I can guide her. But she's not mine. She's gonna grow up and she's gonna pick what she wants and she's gonna move on. But he has a mission for me. And
Mm.
I decided to make my mission to help other women that have been going through this situation or worse situation like I did. I make the decision to, if I ever have myself in a good financial situation, to be able to have a place where they can go and find the resources that they need. They don't need to go to the YW. They don't need to go to the freaking core in Western or anywhere they are because they don't deserve to be mistreated.
Mhm.
They're not. They're not one more thing for them to count. They are a human being that are in need. And if I had the support, I promise you, I will be in a very different situation at the moment.
Yeah.
But I did everything by myself. And that is tiring. You get to a point that you sit down and you say, wow, am I really breathing? Am I really being able to continue walking and moving? It's I To answer your question, first of all, God is the main reason. And two is for me to be able to help other women to survive from people like my ex. I
And you
used to
will.
love him. I used to love him. He's a wonderful human being. I imagine he went through a difficult childhood, but I didn't graduate to be a psychologist.
Mhm.
I have my own problems and I need to resolve it. So, ladies, if you are going through a situation like me, if you are with guys that doesn't value you, come on.
Yeah.
There is a lot of more out there for you. So
I think I think you know sometimes, and I think this is very brave of you, one, to be sharing your story. Second, most people in your situation will be, why me? And you are actually taking a whole different perspective, saying, it is me because I have a plan. And I think shows so much resilience on your end. And I think this is a great example of, like, we shouldn't take for granted our neighbor. We shouldn't take for granted any woman. A smile can change someone's day. A simple act of care can go a long, long way. And we always need to be asking questions, because I am sure that if you were asked more deeper questions, help would have come earlier in the game, right? But like you
Yep.
said, no one took an interest, took it seriously enough. And I think your story is something that we need to learn from. You know, my best friend, when we were in high school, and I'll send you his story because he was my first podcast that I did. He actually graduated with a doctorate degree, and he focuses on helping victims of domestic violence. So I will connect you with him. And I will connect you with Maria Davila. She is in Springfield, but she's an amazing advocate for women as well, and men that go to domestic violence. But when we were in high school, my best friend's sister was killed in front of the
Wow.
house with the baby in her arms. Adrienne today is in college, but that was something that him and his mom um, didn't even know about, didn't even know what was going on until the guy showed up at the mom's house and did it. And here is Isabella.
Say
Hi,
hi.
Isabella. How you doing?
Say good.
So I think,
Heard it.
Say it. Say hi. I'm good.
Hello.
hello, Isabella. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Do you love mommy?
Yeah.
Do you think mommy is the best in the world?
Is mommy the best? She's looking at herself making.
You have to say yes.
Mommy the best for you? Yes. Go to
Mama.
Vamos,
Go with mama.
I want to go to that.
Yeah.
I got nothing. My phone.
So
Look, I got.
And that's your gift right there, right? That's why we move forward, to prevent this from happening to her in the future.
Yes.
And to others. So I think we have so much to learn from your story. I think there is many of us that have gone through, one experience or another that has to do with domestic violence. But I think what you have to know is that you are not alone. And even though those government agencies or whatever shut you down, there is a big community out there that will receive you with open arms and that will definitely help you. But sometimes you just have to keep pushing and actually take this step to move forward, because I am glad you did. But like you said, how many more are still in that cycle? And we really, really need to make sure that we put our stories out there, even when they still hurt, even when we still not healed completely, because we need to bring awareness. We need to make sure that we are heard and that we are helping others with these stories, because they're real stories. And just like you can find the strength in the small little things, there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. And I think, the road is still a long road for you. And we are here to support you in whichever way we can. But this is an amazing step for you to take your story. Fill yourself with courage and putting it out there, because not a lot of people do that. And we need to hear it. We need to know it's real, and we need to know it's happening in our backyard. You're not even 2 miles away from me. And I never met you. I never knew that was happening, So we really need to speak up. And I think you are a true example of what resiliency is and looks like. So thank you so much for opening yourself to us today. It's been amazing.
I really thank you for the opportunity. I was nervous because some people know the story because they were with me, living the moment with me. But like going back and telling somebody that I haven't seen in my life and that I don't know where this recording is going to be, it was a little bit like, oh my God, am I going to be able to say it? How am I going to say it? Should I write it? But
Just as it came to you. It's your voice. Your voice matters.
And feel good to be able to do it this way. And like you said, I do really want to continue telling the story, but not just for people to look at me and see me, oh, I'm so sorry, Stephanie. No, I don't need the sorry. I don't need that to see me as a victim. I was one time.
Yeah.
I was a victim for somebody.
You are a warrior. That's a total different way.
I like that, honestly, because there are days that I wanted to cry so hard, so loud and without stop. And then I said, but what am I going to do if I cry so loud and without stop? Like, there is so much more to be done. So instead of me crying tears, let me cry with my voice, with sentence that other women can understand why they should be getting out of those situations of these people that look so nice and intelligent and super religion. But when you are in those four walls, you are one more of the little pet. Not even a partner, not even a girlfriend, not even a wife. You're worse than a little dog in that house. So God didn't create you to be that way. God didn't create you to be under anybody. God created you for a reason, for a mission, to serve, to help, to bring life and light to the world. So my mom has been the most important thing in this change, because even though she's in the Dominican Republic, she has taken her flights to come and be with me and my child, calling me every day, telling me every day how strong I am, even the day I was the weakest in my entire life. Without her, without God, I don't know if I will be alive by now.
But you are. And that's what we need to celebrate, right? So
Yes.
I really thank you, Stephanie, for bringing and shedding some light into more of what we need to do. And I hope that our story doesn't end here, that we can do a lot of more work together. And we'll continue this conversation offline for sure. But I think, for our listeners today, they might have a little bit to think about after hearing your story. So thank you for elevating your voice. Thank you for being a warrior of light. And if you haven't read that book, it's by Paulo Coelho, and I'll get it to you. You are a warrior of light. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Monica, for having me.